Hello, my name is Ezekiel Anderson, and I will be delivering a speech on how cults are different from religions. Cult. The word has fascinated us for decades and quite possibly even centuries. Movies are made about it today. But are they relevant? And do they affect the way that we live? The answer to this question is yes. In fact, contrary to many people's opinions, the younger generation of Gen Z is technically just as religious as their older generation and parents. The difference is in how they are religious. A majority of people in Gen Z would classify themselves as believing in a higher power or something bigger than themselves, and a large section of those people would even say that they're spiritual. The problem arises if care is not taken to avoid falling into cults, as opposed to religions. Many cults are commonly called new religious movements. But this term should not be used, and not all cults are even religious to begin with. The line between religion and cult can be thin and blurry at times, but it does exist. They are fundamentally different, and cults should not be recognized as legitimate religions. In the next few moments, I will share what separates the two topics and why cults should not be recognized as religions. Every year, hundreds of people fall prey to any of the 3,000 cults in the North American continent alone. While most of these do not end with lives lost, like in Heaven's Gate, it is common that they do lay waste to ruin and harm people's lives. Interestingly, under freedom of religion, there is little the government can do to stop this. Under the First Amendment, which protects religious freedom, they can't prevent things typically until it's too late, after criminal activity has occurred. At that point, people are already indoctrinated. Unfortunately, that means it's too late. The key is to avoid these nasty cults altogether, as the person seeks spirituality and alas avoid these issues and harms that follow. Examples of harms of cults create extortion, manipulation, indoctrination, which is like brainwashing, sowing division, and fostering racism like the KKK. In extreme cases, murder and suicide. So why do people fall prey? They fall prey because cults masquerade as religions and hide their secrets in the dark back rooms. They don't answer questions, and they just teach you not to question. So how does one tell one apart? There are many ways, but first I'll provide some basic background to cults. There are many types of cults as well as religions. Some cults are purely political, which makes it easy to distinguish them from religions. Sometimes the phrase new religious movement is used instead of the word cult, but I feel that this is not a very good definition at all. As stated, some of them are not religious at all. Additionally, technically every major religion started as a cult before it affected society and became mainstream and normalized. It's just a very poor definition to distinguish the two. A lot of times, time is the other thing used to distinguish religions versus cults. And in fact, the Baltimore Sun uses, if a religion can last for several generations, it should be considered a religion and not a cult. While this is helpful, it's not all that's needed to distinguish the two. Something else written by Biography Online that helps qualify a group of a cult is that the teachings are new and different from other religions. Many times these beliefs of other religions intertwine. For example, Buddhism comes from Hinduism, and similarities can often be shown. But a lot of cults exist just because of misconstrued texts from religious books taken totally out of context, and then a new religion or cult is formed purely on those. Additionally, cults usually have a charismatic leader that is viewed as either a deity or direct connection to a deity. This was spoken by Biography Online. Interestingly, the word cult was originally for describing a group that worshipped or had a higher esteem for an individual, like a saint. There was not a god, but they sort of treated him this way. This is talked about in an article by Your Dictionary. Furthermore, these leaders typically have unconventional beliefs that dictate much about how the group should live. And in many ways, they are God in their cult, with full control over how things are run. They do have underlings, but their underlings don't provide new information or beliefs, They're just simply people who have complete obedience to the leader and enforce that obedience to new members. A cult functions more like a pyramid scheme, while a religion, they differ in functionality, and a religion is run more like a community. In an article written by Refinery 29, they expound on this greatly. In the article, one of the first things mentioned is how cults rush people. They leave a lot of questions unanswered or turn the questions back around. Additionally, cults control rather than guide. A religion provides a way of living, but a cult essentially demands it. Lastly, the environment is essentially prevents trust in a cult. Because of things mentioned, it is impossible to trust someone else in the group because they're essentially spying on you and controlling you, while in religions, community is fostered. People don't need to fall prey to this, though. Their money and resources, time and lives don't need to be wasted, and they don't have to compromise their morals to have community. Unfortunately, this is how cults prey on people, and they can be very dangerous. So what do we do with this knowledge? We use it as a tool. Problems that are not seen cannot be resolved, and the fact that the cults are not just a 70s thing that should be overlooked. There are well over 3,000 in North America, and spirituality is not dead. While conventional religions may be dying, people will always need a basis for morality and how to live in some form. The only other option is to do as thou wilt and work in complete anarchy. So if you or someone you know is searching for a meaning in life, higher power, and a community of people, knowledge about cults is important to at least be aware of so that they can be avoided. Simply ask yourself or the person searching for religion a few simple questions. Does this group not answer questions? Does the power flow like a pyramid? Is there a charismatic leader with too much power that benefits from this group? Is the group controlling and overbearing? Is there a lack of trust? Are they very secretive? Do the beliefs go against societal fundamentals? If the answer to any or most of these questions is yes, you might be in a cult. Thank you.